When I get that feeling, I want sexual healing. Sexual healing, baby. It's good for me. Okay, so I was just at sushi. Oh, by the way, this is horribly off topic. Episode 76
with Chris and Steve.
Yeah, that's us. I was
You were getting some sexual healing?
No, I was getting some sushi.
Some sushi healing.
Sushi.
Sushi.
My very own sushi lady.
Sushi lady.
Have you seen Dr. Steve Rule?
No, are you talking like Dr. Steve when like the Dr. Steve that you're referred to? No. Dr. Steve. No. Dr. Steve Rule.
This thing that was on Tim and Eric, I guess.
Oh, okay, Tim and Eric.
So it was John C. Reilly as Dr. Steve Rule, and he was doing a segment for his television show. It was like, check it out with Dr. Steve Rule.
Okay.
And so he was with a sushi chef.
Yes.
He's like, this is my very own sushi lady, and it was a man. He's like, you got this sushi. You got the sushi meat, peaches, guacamole.
Peaches and guacamole.
The peaches would be the ginger.
Oh, okay.
And the guacamole is the wasabi.
Ah.
And then the sushi person tries to tell him that it's wasabi, and he says wasabi, and then he returns the words that were said to him with "What's up?"
What's up?
So he eats a whole handful of it, and he's like, He's like, holy guacamole.
Wait, then he says guacamole and not guacamole?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I was with it until that point. That seems like
I'm sorry.
That seems like a continuity error that should have been caught in the editing of the sketch.
Oh, whatever. It's fine. And he also does one where he eats seafood out of a dumpster. So
that sounds good. Was he like fighting with I was gonna say pelicans, with seagulls? Pelicans. Was he fighting with the pelicans?
See, I don't know. Like, what's the deal with pelicans, anyways?
I don't know. What is the? I mean, when I think of pelicans, I think of Finding Nemo, right? And the pelican is.
I only saw Finding Nemo once. So what do the pelicans do?
The pelican tries to help the heroes of the film out. So the pelican goes.
Or as folks that are film majors might call them, as protagonists.
The protagonists, yes. The protagonists of the film at this point are Nemo's dad, whose name I've forgotten, and Dory, the cute blue fish played by Ellen DeGeneres.
Wasn't it who played his dad?
That guy. You know, he's got like a name that like everybody's got. He's like, there's 3 or 4 of them. He's
John
Brooks.
Albert Brooks.
Albert Brooks, not Mel. Albert.
He's Jewish.
Yeah. Was it ping pong that I said Mel instead of Albert? Was I being?
I said Albert.
You said
no? They're both
Albert.
No, I didn't say that.
No, we haven't talked. Well, we did talk about that.
Did we talk about Fat Albert once?
No, we talked about Bill Cosby once, at least.
Yes, because he likes to take advantage of people allegedly.
Allegedly. No, so Albert Brooks.
What was the name of the pen that he had on picture pages?
Pen 15?
No.
Hey,
he had the little pen. He had picture pages. Time to get your picture pages. Time to get your papers and your pencils.
I remember. I think it was Pen 15.
Chris. That was going to be the side project that I had after the New Sweethearts.
Was Pen 15.
Because there was a bunch of bands that were a word and a number.
Yes, Sum 41 and
Blink 182.
Blink 182 and Green Day.
Yeah.
So Albert Brooks is playing not Norman.
We have gotten several times horribly off topic so far. I didn't even bother doing the mumble jumble this time.
Albert Brooks, his character, Flounder. No, he's Marlin. He's the name of another fish, even though he's a clownfish, and he's not funny. Anyway, Marlin and Dory.
What are we? You some sort of clownfish? What are you supposed to make me laugh like a clownfish That was my Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci should be in. If they haven't stunt cast Joe Pesci in the sequel, Finding Dory, then they should, so that the Joe Pesci fish, can say that.
Remember Goodfellas? You remember Animaniacs?
Yes.
Did you watch it at all?
Well, I was on because my brother watched it a lot, but I did not actively watch it myself.
Well, they had the Goodfellas, which were like the Goodfellas, and they had like, basically the.
Was one of them played by Joe Pesci?
It had a guy that was playing a Joe Pesci character.
He was doing his Joe Pesci.
It was probably Maurice LaMarche.
Joe Pesci pastiche.
Yes. And they would always he'd be like, he'd say something like, "Hey, you're funny," and be like, "What? I'm a clown." He wouldn't say a fucking clown. What am I, a fucking clown? And then they'd get in a big fight. He'd be like, "That's it," and then they'd have a big fight.
But can you imagine if
that was like every episode that they were on?
Joe Pesci fish says that, and all the parents in the audience erupt laughing, and the kids are all like, "What are they laughing about?" Like that's a Pixar moment when there's a joke that's in there that would kind of make sense because it would be a joke about clownfish and
he's shooting spider fish in the foot.
Yes. So the pelican picks up Marlin.
Go home and get your fucking shine box. Fucking fish.
The pelican picks up Marlin and Dory and tries to bring them. Marlin and Dory get up onto the dock. They've swam through a bunch of the ocean to get to Sydney, Australia, because that's where they know Nemo is, and they somehow
because they're trying to find him.
Yes, they come up above water, and a bunch of seagulls. Getting back to our point, the difference between seagulls and pelicans. A bunch of seagulls all look at them and start saying "mine, mine, mine," which is it's a bit for the seagulls throughout the entire thing. And the pelican says to them, "If you want to live, get into my mouth." And of course, they've already been eaten by a whale at this point, or not eaten by a whale.
What are they, like Jonah? The Bible.
The Bible. That's a good reference. No, so
every time I reference the Bible, you have to shoot yourself. Sorry, don't shoot yourself. Don't murder yourself on my accord. Do it for population control.
Yeah. Title.
That is really long.
No, just do it for population control. That's right. The pelican helps the protagonist. The pelican gets them into his mouth. The pelican flies over to the dentist's office where Nemo is supposedly at.
And he's like a sea fish, and he's like in a freshwater tank or something.
Yes.
And he's like drowning because it's no salty water.
No, when they arrive, he's pretending to be dead because he was about to be shipped off with the dentist's niece, who has a reputation for killing all the fish that she is given as gifts. And so Marlin and Dory peek out of the pelican's gullet, or whatever that part of the pelican is called. They see
the vagina neck of the the pelican. Like the prolapsed vagina neck pelican. I don't know. Keep going.
So what a pelican does is
No, you can do it. Just talk about what the pelican does.
What a pelican does. A pelican is helpful to I was gonna say humanity, to mankind. A pelican is helpful to fish kind. Despite
I thought they ate fish too. I think it's just in this movie.
Eater of fish are friends, not food.
Well, the thing is about the pelican is like they have like this fucking weird like fucking pouch face.
Yes, they do.
And like, do they have to like tilt their head upside down to actually swallow? Because I don't imagine there's like throat muscles at the bottom of their little fucking thing.
I don't know.
Don't look it up.
No.
Look it up.
I'm just bringing up our listed topics because maybe eventually we might want to
get to one of them. So yeah, I went to the sushi place. I went to the sushi place, and they were playing a when you listen to, when you go to like a college football game, they have like the band playing like different songs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what they were doing was playing like a band version, like, a march version of Sexual Healing.
like, and what was playing was the melody being played on like trumpets or?
Yeah, it was on a bunch of horns, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like drinking my sake. It's still too hot. I had to like the first time I poured my first little shot of sake, I had to put my winter glove on because it would burn. Like the container was seriously burning my hand. But I have like lady hands, so that's probably why.
I think that's a little bit sexist there, Steve.
Oh, fuck you.
Really?
No,
shit. I thought you were finally coming over. I thought you were gonna.
Sorry, Chris.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I didn't have a period.
So they were playing Sexual Healing. They were not.
I meant a period, an experimental period.
Okay.
Like
you were gonna
you and David Bowie had a period.
I see. You stole my trend. I was gonna say. So you were at the.
What was your transition gonna be?
You were at the sushi bar. They were playing Sexual Healing and not insert David Bowie song here.
No, I think my transition was better.
I think the listeners should decide.
I think the fact that you had an experimental period and so did David Bowie.
Yes. You win.
Yes.
I thought it was all about like you would only get with me if you were on the rag. That's what that joke was about. You haven't had a period.
What? That's gross. I'm bleeding from my vagina. Do you want to try sexual?
Apparently, did you know?
Oh wait, I don't have a vagina. I'm bleeding from my penis hole.
Did you know that in the book Walk This Way, which is the autobiography of Aerosmith,
you did read,
that I did read way back in the day, they describe the old biker ritual of getting your wings as being.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, as
people also know. If you don't know, then you're a fucking moron.
So that has to do with periods and.
Apparently, it tastes like a penny.
Oh God!
Because it tastes like copper.
David Bowie,
yes,
had a phase. He had many phases. His last phase was
death.
Day. Yeah, it was death. He died today.
Yes. Today, literally today.
Today, the day we're recording this and the day we're releasing this.
Oh, you really think it's going to get up?
You don't get up.
All right, cool.
I can get it up.
All right. Out or up?
Up. Out.
You're still in your 30s.
I got a phase. I'm in the middle of a phase.
Oh, you're back into a phase?
No, I'm in a phase where I can still get it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I hope that phase has lasted the last 38...
Not 30.
7, 8?
It didn't start that early. That phase started, what, like 12, 13?
Well, you could pop... Like, there's evidence that kids can pop boners prior to getting, things in their balls.
Okay.
Balls growing. Balls. I'm a scientist.
Did you have a favorite Bowie period? Or do you like, where do you stand on Bowie? Like, how do you feel
I'm a
today?
fan. Like, but I'm only a fan of the hits, basically.
Yeah.
I don't really go too deep.
Yeah.
I don't dive deep into the Bowie.
Yeah.
Although, what was it? Ricky Gervais. He hosted the Golden Globes, which were on last night.
He did.
And one of my favorite things that Bowie did was an episode of Extras.
Yes. Yeah.
And he was just like, because the first season of Extras is Ricky Gervais as an extra, trying to make it as a real actor,
right, and
not just be standing in the background or saying one line or whatever the hell it is. And he in the second season he gets like a sitcom, which gives him fame and notoriety. But it's not what he actually wants to do because he's doing catchphrases and whatnot. Yeah. And then he goes to like a club and David Bowie's there. And David Bowie basically sings a song about he was just a fat guy.
Because the thing about Extras was most of the guest stars appeared as themselves.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. I've seen at least a few episodes, but I don't remember which ones. I don't think I ever saw the Bowie one.
The Bowie one was really good. I have extras, so
Yeah.
the next time we record at my place, we can watch that one.
All right.
We can hold each other and cry.
Cry over Mr. David Jones, who's passed away.
Davy Jones? Didn't he already die?
This guy, the one we know is David Bowie, his real name is David Jones. And he changed his name to David Bowie because of the other one.
Because of Davy Jones from the Monkees?
David Jones from the Monkees.
Oh. And from the Locker guy.
And from the Locker guy. Yes, that guy.
Yeah.
I got it.
Took you a little bit, though.
It took me a second. I'm
you
sorry.
haven't been drinking.
I used to see. I'm with you. I'm mostly a fan of the hits, but and I was definitely just a fan of the hits when in 1995 I went to the Nine Inch Nails David Bowie concert, which was a very strange experience, which I have probably on this podcast, but definitely somewhere online before shit on, because it was a very weird, like I was very into Nine Inch Nails.
I remember you guys going to that show, and I remember like the build up towards it.
Yeah,
because I was like, you and John, not your brother.
Yeah, well, my brother went as well.
Your brother did go,
and
I
feel
didn't
like
know that.
we met up with Will, or Will was with us. So there was a conglomeration of people.
I should have gone to this friggin' show.
Car. Yeah, well,
I mean, I wasn't a 9 Inch, and I was very much like, I mean, still am, but not as much as when I was younger.
Yeah,
pretty much a contrarian,
right? Yeah.
In most things in my life. And I've gotten better as of late. And when someone says, you should check this out, I don't say...
You don't instantly say...
I don't instantly say, no, you're stupid and I want to fucking punch you.
Yeah. You might still have the contrarian instinct.
I have it in the back of my brain that maybe that they're wrong. Right. But like certain things like I love Rick and Morty now.
Right.
But like somebody had showed me the precursor to it, which was like sort of like Doc Brown and his and Marty, sort of like in an animated series, and there's all sorts of like weird things where like Doc is trying to get Marty to suck his dick and all that, fun stuff. And I'm like,
fun stuff like that.
And I'm like, I didn't like it. I thought it was too over the top.
Yeah,
like the movie Over the Top. With Sly Stallone.
It
was the one. It was the arm wrestling.
Who won a Golden Globe last night?
He did for Over the Top. Like 20 years later.
For Creed, for playing Rocky as a supporting in a supporting role in Creed. I think that's the only movie he has out. So I'm pretty sure that's what he won for.
Okay, so it wasn't Expendables 4.
No, it was not Expendables.
And it wasn't a movie that came out 20 years ago.
So we went to this Nine Inch Nails David Bowie concert, which was weird at the time, and now it turns out that Trent Reznor seems to like doing this, and the way that he does it is kind of weird. He has a habit that began with Nin Bowie of deferring to whoever he's playing with. So when he did later years, he did Nine Inch Nails and Jane's Addiction. Even though Jane's Addiction hadn't been out for ages, and I would say more of the people that were in the audience were interested in Nine Inch Nails than Jane's Addiction went on second. Same thing with Bowie. Most of the people who were in that audience were there for Nine Inch Nails. Bowie went on second, and that was part of what made it weird. And I think he's done it at least one other time.
Well, he understands that there's been... I mean, as much as I don't necessarily... give too many shits about Trent Reznor, but he understands what happened before him, and he gives respect to the artists that happened before him, especially ones like David Bowie, who are fucking spectacular.
And here's what was weird at the time. So I'm like you, I'm mostly a fan of Bowie and his hits, and so at the time and for all the years since, I've shat on that performance because I was
You're like,
mad.
I love shitting on things physically, not even using any sort of euphemisms here. I love putting feces on David Bowie.
He probably went through that phase too.
Gross.
But no, so I didn't like, my memory of it was that I didn't like it because he didn't play any of his hits. The only thing that he played that resembled a hit was The Man Who Sold the World, which was at the time popular with all the Gen X crowd because it had just been covered by Nirvana the year before on their Unplugged album. which was still big at the time. But so when he passed away today, John Martin, who I do the Generation Goat podcast with.
You do? When did that happen? Have you done one since we started doing this?
No. But John and I, shared a video of that Nin Bowie performance with me, and I rewatched it, and it's fucking good. And what it is it's showing that Bowie is in the middle of a very different phase. He's in the middle of a dark phase that kind of lasts around that period where he's working with Trent, and for better or worse, a lot of the Nine Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson vibe rubs off. Not in a terrible way. He still sounds like Bowie, but if you view it through the lens of here he is in a phase and he's not really all that interested in being a nostalgia act. I did the math. He's like 48 at the time that I'm seeing him. So he's just about to turn 50. He's not interested in doing his hits. He's interested in experimenting the way Bowie always does. And it was really weird.
I mean, it was the appropriate venue to do so.
Yeah.
Because, a Nine Inch Nails audience would want something that's
right.
a little bit more dark.
Yeah.
They wouldn't want to hear Fame.
Yeah. They might. I mean, I think that audience has, not at that point, but a Nine Inch Nails audience today who has more fully embraced all of Trent's various influences would actually probably be pretty cool with
I wouldn't. Fame. If he played a bunch of dark shit and then Fame, I'd still be okay with it.
Yeah. In watching the video, apparently, I don't think he did this at the show I saw, but at some point he did go so far as to do Under Pressure. Like he went as poppy as that. I never
Who was
saw
doing
it.
the
he had a female bass player at the time, and she, what was good about it was that she did not try to do Freddie Mercury. She did the part, but she did not try to do as much of the vocal acrobatics as he did.
When I have done Under Pressure in karaoke, I have always done the Bowie part and not the Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, the Mercury part, I can't even.
I can't get that high. I have a vocal range that is okay, I guess, but I can't go that high.
I think either finding a dude.
I know my goddamn limitations.
Finding a dude who could do it, or doing it with a woman, doing that. She just gave me this look. I'm doing the song at karaoke with a woman.
You sent me that thing, and it's tomorrow. It was like karaoke throwdown.
No, it was last night.
I thought it was the 11th.
I think it was last night. What day is today?
Today's the 10th.
No, today's the 11th.
Today's the 11th. So
Today's
tonight.
I know. I think it was last night. And here's why I think it was last night. Because I was, and we'll get to this, I was in Maine for something yesterday, which is why I never followed up on it. Once I sent it to you, I went back and looked at my calendar, and I was like, shit.
You're right. It was last night.
I was like, shit, I'm going to be in Maine all day. So that's why I never followed up.
I mean, you would have been closer than I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was last night. Boo!
But someday we'll do karaoke, and I will cut my balls off, and I will be Freddie Mercury. Not that Freddie Mercury had his balls cut off, but in order to hit those notes, I imagine I would have
If
to.
he had his balls cut off, he probably wouldn't have had technically the sexual drive that he did.
I was not aware of his sexual drive.
I imagine it was healthy.
It was healthy. He got some sexual healing.
Until it wasn't healthy.
Until it wasn't. Pour one out. No, don't pour one out.
I'm not going to dump beer on... Do you still consider this your brother's room?
Well, it's where he sleeps when he's here.
Yeah, but...
And we call it Uncle John's room for the girls. For right now, his bed isn't here. Some of his stuff is in here. It's mostly games and whatnot. But I don't know. It's like we call the garage in this house the garage, even though it hasn't been a garage since before.
I've never seen a car
born.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a garage before my grandfather put the top floor on the house. And then when he put the top floor on the house and he put the staircase in, the staircase made it impossible to do more than back a car into the actual garage. I think when you first met us, it might have still had the garage front door. When they did the vinyl siding on the house, that's when the garage front door got sided.
I don't remember so much back then.
Yeah. So anyway, rest in peace, Bowie and Freddie.
And everybody else that's ever died.
And everyone else has ever died.
Except for people that sucked.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna say rest in peace, Hitler. I'm sorry.
No. Hitler should not rest in peace. Rest in pieces.
Because he
blew his head off.
Did he blow his head?
I think he blew his head off.
I don't know.
No. It doesn't matter.
You were in a bunker?
He should rest in pieces because he's been torn to shreds by Cerberus? Or I think I'm adding an R in there. I think it's just Cerberus, the three-headed dog.
You can give us an email, hot@clarkwoods.com if you want to correct Chris on his pronunciation as the three-headed dog beast of hell.
Yes.
I didn't want to bother saying it so they wouldn't have to correct me.
They wouldn't have to correct you. I mentioned that I was in Maine yesterday.
You were.
I was in Maine yesterday. Do you know why I was in Maine yesterday?
Yes, but you could tell me anyways. Because the people that are listening don't.
You can't throw a brother a bone. Just pretend. I was in Maine yesterday.
Were you?
To see something.
What were you there to see? Was it up in Portland?
I was in Portland, yeah. So
did you go to the barcade?
I did not go to the barcade. I'm sorry. I was with my...
Why are you being a responsible parent and not going to a bar so you could drink and play pinball?
Because I was being a responsible parent and going to see Disney on Ice.
Oh.
Which was...
They didn't have it in Boston? You had to go all the way up to freaking Maine?
My brother-in-law, who lives in Maine...
Well, I guess that makes more
and
sense.
Lives and works in Maine. He got a good deal on tickets, and he basically treated everyone. So, like, his whole extended family to go see Disney on Ice. There are lots of kids in the family now, and so...
What was the... I think... Because I think I went to it once at the Garden.
At the Garden.
Like this is when it was the Garden.
Yes.
Before it was TD.
Before it was the Fleet Center.
Before it was the Fleet Center. Oh wait, no, it was supposed to be the Shawmut Center.
Yes.
And then it was the Fleet Center.
Yes.
And then it was the TD.
Was it something between Fleet and TD Garden?
I don't think so.
No, yeah, I think it went to TD Garden.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Before it was the Shawmut Center. It was the Garden, the Boston Garden.
Yeah.
And I went to see Disney on Ice way back when.
It's funny because I was trying to, there was no way that we were going to be able to fool my kids into going because when they hear where we're going, they just try to veto it if it's not something they want to do. When my brother and I went to the Garden, the same place you went way back in the day, my mother and my aunts, or one of my aunt,
one of your aunt?
One of my aunt.
Plural.
Either both my aunts or
Cerberus.
Or one of them. They told us they were taking us to the Garden. And we didn't know
what that was. So you thought you were going to Nashua
to a garden.
to drink at a dive bar.
No. We thought we were
play some shuffleboard.
We thought we were going to see flowers and whatnot. No, we ended up at the Garden to see Disney on Ice. At least that's my recollection. So the theme this time around was, and so we've been once before with Kaylee, not with Melody, and the theme back then was Disney princesses. This time it was quote unquote treasure trove.
Oh, what does that mean?
I don't know. It means that
you watched it, didn't you?
I tried to follow the theme. So here's, as best I can tell, how it all connected to treasure trove. At the beginning, Mickey, Donald, Goofy, and Minnie all come out, and there's a treasure box.
They're like, oh, not that kind of come out. Never mind.
Never mind.
Continue.
They all come out, and there's a treasure box, and they find a clock and a lamp in it.
Oh.
Suggesting two of the stories that we're going to see here. And so it begins with a very long, extended version of Alice in Wonderland, which... Alice in Wonderland is a visually stunning Disney film with absolutely no plot. I mean, like there are lots of little individual stories and whatnot, but this version of Alice in Wonderland took a really long time, and I want to come back to one particular thing from it. So they did Alice in Wonderland, that segued into Peter Pan, a really long version of Peter Pan.
So just all like a bunch of old movies.
Some of the old ones, and then they went into Aladdin. I think that was the whole first half.
And they were renouncing Muslims, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Very important that part.
We don't need another Charlie Hebdo.
No.
That just happened, the year anniversary of that shit.
Then there was intermission. And then
I'm trying to be like Reese's guy. You're not letting me.
They did, and then the second half they had a couple of longer ones. The Lion King was a longer one, but then they kind of just rattled off a bunch of various princesses, so that they could do what figure skating does well, which is like the couples dance.
The ladies.
Well, not just the ladies, but the
gentlemen, or well. And the ladies.
The gentlemen and the ladies. I mean, that's what figure skating can do well, is pair skating. And of course, none of these people are doing sort of stuff that you would see in the Olympics. In fact, most of them probably used to do that sort of stuff, but then they have injuries, which is why they're doing Disney on Ice. At any rate, they kind of rattle through a bunch of... they do one song from The Little Mermaid, and then they do a couple of songs here and there from other things, and then it's all over.
And then they start pushing their gay agenda, and they say this is now Dykes on Ice.
Yes, that was the end. They didn't. You know what? They did not have Anna and Elsa.
Oh, but they were sisters.
Well, that doesn't mean that they couldn't both be lesbians.
I guess, but when you have these two characters and you say that they're both lesbian. I think there's a thing in the back of your brain. I'm like, are they lesbian sisters? Which is not okay.
Not okay. No.
Which is, I guess, well, yeah, no. I like incest. But the thing is, the problem with incest. Is that the episode title? Did we just change it?
I don't know.
The problem with incest is that you're not supposed to procreate.
No.
With your relative.
Right. So would sisters be a problem? I don't know.
Well, you could email us at hot@clarkwoods.com.
Yes, we want your opinions on that more than anything else. We want your
opinions on incest and whether or not it's okay if it's two dudes that are brothers that are sucking on each other's wangs or whatever, or two sisters that are going down on each other.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. I mean,
or scissoring.
Well, what about the all too common, and I think they usually get around this these days. The mother teaching daughter. I think it's usually the stepmom and the daughter.
Stop it! You're bringing up pornography that's in the back of my brain.
I mean, is they're fine, but if anyway.
Well, obviously they're fine.
They're fine because they're not genetically related, whatever. But that I guess that's how they get around it. I don't know. At any rate.
But Daddy.
Oh God. The thing that was disturbing. The thing that was most disturbing about the Disney on Ice. So they, in general, were wearing the same kind of costumes that if you were to go to a Disney park, you would bump into the characters in these same costumes. Disney is very good like that. They're very good about their branding. So if you see Alice in Wonderland, Alice is always wearing the blue dress with the white apron. She's got the yellow, the blonde wig.
But it's like a real person when it's
a real person. Now, for all the real people, that's absolutely no problem, right? Because if you're it's exactly the same. Now, for the characters who usually have the sort of bigger sculpted heads, right? Like Mickey, Donald, Goofy, Minnie, they're fine because they're not doing a ton of crazy ice skating. So they can wear their heads and look exactly the same as they would look anywhere where you'd bump into them. But when you get down to somebody like the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, if you were to bump into her in a Disney park, she would be wearing the same outfit that this ice skater was wearing, but she'd be wearing a sort of sculpted head that looked like the kind of creepy Queen of Hearts that you get in the Alice in Wonderland cartoon. Instead, what you got was a woman wearing maybe a wig, maybe her own hair tied up in kind of that severe bun or whatever that the Queen of Hearts has. The top half of her face was in kind of a 1970s, early 1980s creepy mask to kind of give her the top part of her face to kind of look like the Queen of Hearts, and then just like weird, badly applied eye makeup and lip makeup. She looked like something out of a bad, horrifying in the wrong way 80s horror movie. Like just terrifying to look at this, to look at what they did to try and approximate the Queen of Hearts. It was one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
So, what did you run into her after and say, "Hey, you look great. I really enjoyed your makeup. Really looks superb.
No, but
you look just like this freaking lady."
But I did. We went out to eat afterwards, and I found myself speaking about this.
Where'd you go to eat? You didn't go to the barcade.
No, we went to Pizzeria Uno.
What the fuck?
My brother-in-law.
There's a lot of really good restaurants.
Yes, there are a lot of
Portland.
really, but we had like 3 kids with us still at this point, and it was just like.
Well, actually, there's a lot of really good bars.
There are a lot of
in Portland,
and in fact, I think my
Did you go to the comic book shop there?
Didn't go. It didn't really go anywhere.
Did you go to the Cryptozoology Museum?
No, I didn't do anything. We went to.
Girls would have loved that.
My brother-in-law, I think, was going to go. Speaking of sushi, I think he was going to go to either a sushi place or like some. He was going to go to someplace cool, someplace you would have gone. But he was trying to, do the whole family thing, and so we.
Well, who knows? I suppose as far as chain restaurants goes, yeah. I am not as against it as other places.
It's a good restaurant. It's not bad.
But
But
it's still rather like a local place.
Yeah, in Portland, there probably would have been plenty of options, and had it been just the adults, we would have gone to something
like the barcade.
I
got yourself a Falcon Punch.
Me and my brother-in-law would have been the only. Well, my mother-in-law's husband would have been. I guess so. Like 3 of us would have been drinking. Everyone else, they're all Baha'is and don't drink. So. But overall it was good. It's like, but it's like, so it's ice skating, right?
Oh, we're back on this.
I gotta say, it's ice skating, and like Disney is so carefully controlled about their product, right? You go to their parks, you see their movies, like it's always.
You go to their ice shows.
Well, the ice shows I feel like are an exception here. Like they are so stringent about high quality, but like you take an ice show out and you're going to an ice rink where the sound system is terrible, and like my mother-in-law, it was the first thing she turned around and made a comment about that to me, and I was like nodding along. I'm like, yeah, the sound is horrible. Like,
yep.
None of the kids are gonna notice, but if I were like the head of Disney, I would. I mean, I guess
I'd be like, I want better acoustics at ice rinks in Maine.
Not that, but I don't know why they continue. I mean, I guess they must make a decent amount of money.
Yes. They don't, like, here's the thing. If you're a corporation, right?
Yes.
You want to make money.
Yes.
And if you can make money with an inferior product...
It depends on what company you are, because companies...
The thing is, like, if you're Disney, but the thing is, you don't, like, it's just like, oh, this is an ice show.
If you're Warner Brothers, absolutely you do that. If you're
No, but like
peddling Daffy Duck and that bullshit, you don't care about...
I like Daffy Duck.
You don't care about your quality. Disney cares about their quality.
They care about their quality, like, by doing ice shows?
That's what I'm saying. Like
that is not caring about your quality.
Feels like an anomaly. It feels like the sort of thing that maybe they signed a contract.
It's a thing, I think, to make money without having to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, I guess.
Because like you could charge. How much did you pay?
I don't know. My brother-in-law paid for it all, so I mean,
I don't know how much we paid back in the day.
It's not cheap, but it's not terribly.
So let's just say it was $30 a pop.
Yeah.
Maybe 20 for the kids.
Yeah, it's
that's a decent amount of cash coming in.
Right.
And if that place is full,
yeah, it wasn't. But they did 2 shows on a Sunday, and I guess Saturday was probably packed. So
like, all right, so you have this like just thing where like it's for the kids. It's obviously not for the adults, because like when you go to a Disney movie or some sort of other thing, there are like things that they'll throw in so parents won't want to put a bullet in their head
yeah,
like while they're watching this movie,
right?
And because, like, you know,
Well,
or it'll just be good in general,
Yeah.
like a lot of the Pixar stuff,
Right.
where you're just like, oh, this is a great movie, and it's good that I can go and take my kids to it,
Right.
because I actually want to see this anyways.
Yeah.
And I know I have children to have an excuse to go see this
Right.
movie. Or you could just go to Chunky's and get a pitcher of beer and
Get a pitcher of beer and watch The Good Dinosaur. Anyway, sorry, I'll get off my soapbox there. It's just, it feels weird to me. It feels like the sort of thing that somebody signed a contract like decades ago, and the Disney today would not be whoring their stuff out there in such a low quality.
I think it's just a nostalgia thing, as far as like, you know, it's the same reason that people are still. I think it happened this past week was the Awesome Games Done Quick tournament where. It isn't really a tournament, but it's just like an extravaganza where the greatest speedrunners like play games really fast. And the fact that people are still playing games like Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3 and whatever, and playing like shitloads of Mega Man games is the fact that like this nostalgia is holding up and these games still mean something. Right. And it's like the fact that maybe this Disney like experience that has something to do with ice skating. Maybe there's the nostalgia of people that are our age that went to see it and be like, well, maybe I should take my kids to see the Disney on Ice. And despite the lack of entertainment value or like production value,
it's the production value more than the entertainment value. I mean, because the songs are great. I mean, they, in terms of the places where they had just characters speaking, in almost every case, it's just recorded dialogue and stuff from the movies. So you've got somebody out there dressed up as Genie, and Stephanie commented on this. It was a little weird. Like, you hear Robin Williams' voice.
Is it actually?
It's actually
because they're playing the music.
I mean, they're playing the music from the movie. Or the dialogue clips from the movie. But so in that sense, like, the entertainment part of it is authentic.
It's not Dan Castellaneta or anything.
No, it's actually Robin Williams. It's stuff from the movies. And you know, they cut out some parts. I was frustrated that they cut out some of Pumbaa's laugh lines in the Lion King section. And so frustrated that at one point, right before he actually did get his laugh line about farting, that I shouted out, they're cutting all his lines, and then he actually delivered the line, and I was like, oh.
You just wanted him to say things about farting.
I did want him to say things about farting. He's a
something. He's a fart.
Something. He's
fart
a wart
machine.
hog. He's a fart hog.
He's a fart machine, and he won't fart for nobody but you. So you were complaining about it. So he's like, I better fart for Chris.
Yeah, baby. Speaking of things I was complaining about.
I forgot what it was on the list.
I wasn't really complaining about it. But so the other day you sent me I don't know if it was a text or a tweet or no, it's a text. Asking, you gave me homework. You said, "Can you?"
I did.
You said, "Can you do?" All right, I'm not going to try to beat around the bush. You said, "Can you watch Making a Murderer?" Before,
which is on Netflix, and if you're listening to this, you've probably watched it all.
Yeah, and if you haven't, spoilers.
Whatever. Like, you know, it's a real life event that happened. This isn't a movie.
So anyway, you said, "Can you watch it before the next time we record?" And I was like, "Well, it depends on when you want to record." Because and
I still said later rather than sooner, and then
then you said it's only 10 hours, which you know, I wrote back to you something to the effect of like, "Well, we know me. Like, it takes me months to watch something that's like 10 or 13 hours." But I
did finish up Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Did I talk about that before?
Yeah, I think you talked a little bit about it.
I still don't like it.
You don't like it, but Becky liked it.
Becky liked it. I still hate Kilgore. Kilgore or whatever.
Kilgrave.
I mean, I sort of like the fact that they made fun of the fact that he had that name.
Kill who?
But I still hated it. Like, I didn't like him as a villain.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike Jessica Jones as a protagonist.
Right. You weren't buying Kilgrave.
I'm like, you could have like taken him out so many times, and it's just Did you get what's that thing where Stockholm syndrome?
Yes.
Did you Stockholm syndrome yourself, and you don't want to murder him because you needed to get this girl out of jail who ended up killing herself? Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers after I said the thing that happens.
Made a murderer.
Do 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 do.
Did you make a murderer, Jessica Jones? I guess you made a murderer.
Yes.
That's what Kilgrave would probably say.
He made the murderer.
He made the murderer.
All right, so, okay, how far in Making a Murderer did you get?
I got to episode 3, and then, like, I was started watching 5 or 10 minutes into episode 4. And the...
Is that Attack of the Clones, or what is the...
Episode 4 is A New Hope.
I thought you said episode 3.
Episode 3, yes, Attack of the Clones. I got to making the murderer...
Making Attack of the Clones.
Making a murderer... Well, you might make a murderer by making them watch Attack of the Clones.
Clones.
Attack of the Clooney?
No.
Making a Murderer is about a dude who gets wrongfully convicted of a
sexual assault,
and then after
18 years.
18 years,
he gets convicted in 1985, and he gets out of jail in 2003.
Yes. So he gets exonerated, and then in the process of him. So here's the first thing, right? So you asked me to watch this, and I'm watching the first episode, and everyone who listens to this podcast knows about my trepidation of entering into something that's really long, because I feel like TV series just get stretched out.
This isn't One Piece, for Christ's sake. You don't even bother drinking.
All right, so I'm watching the first episode, and the first episode is so engrossing that I forget that the title of the show is Making a Murderer. And the first episode is all about the crime that he was previously convicted for, right? That he was wrongfully convicted for. But I'm like...
But he didn't kill any, or like there wasn't a murder
There was
involved.
no murder in it. But I'm 40 minutes into it, and I'm like, they're going to tell me the whole story in the first episode. Why is this 10 episodes? Because I've forgotten that the title of the show is Making a Murderer.
Not making a rapist.
Not making a rapist. So I get 40 minutes into it.
Rape isn't funny. Why were you just laughing?
Oh, God. So I'm 40 minutes into it, and like somewhere like minute 50, I think it's like a 60-minute episode, the first one. And like somewhere around like 55, 60 minutes, I remember, oh, wait, this is not the whole thing. They're setting up this whole other story. And so then I get into episode 2, and episode 2 begins with like straight up,
Anakin trying to get with Padme.
Yes. Wait, episode 3 is Revenge of the Sith. What are you...
So, number 2 is Attack of the Clones.
The person who loves the prequels is typing us an angry email right now.
Yeah,
like,
Clark at hotwoods.com.
You fucking
I did it wrong. Hot at clarkwoods.com.
So anyway, so I watch episode 2, and episode 2 starts to introduce the whole idea that that there's this woman who works for Auto Trader magazine, and she's been in touch with him, and basically it's set up, oh, she's the one that's going to get killed. She's the murder victim here. And then, I got through episode 3, and then I started seeing, and I meant to get through episode 4, because I got like 5 or 10 minutes into it, and then I got pulled away to do something else.
They do have children, it's understandable.
I saw somewhere, maybe on Facebook today, somebody talking about the confession that happens in episode 4, right? But the bulk of episode 3 was about a confession. So I'm sitting here and I'm trying... The
confession of... Is it Brandon's confession?
Brandon's confession happens in episode 3.
Okay, I didn't know if you had seen it or not.
Yeah, no. So Brandon is his nephew.
Yeah. Yes, nephew.
So the coerced confession, all that stuff happens in. Well, anyway. So this is where I'm confused at the moment, because there was like a big thing that was about dissecting Brandon's confession, and somebody was saying, oh, spoilers for episode 4, and I'm like, wait, there's that. And then I did look at the description for episode 4, which talks about how somebody's confession casts doubt about what's the main guy's name?
Steve Avery.
About Steve's involvement in the case.
Now,
that's what I haven't gotten to.
Now, okay, so you haven't gotten that far, but you've gotten to a decent point. So
Right.
you've gotten to the point where Brandon's like confession is taped, and he's like in that room
Right.
with the police officers for nearly 4 hours.
Right.
And so basically, you're familiar with dogs, right?
Yes.
All right.
The animal.
The animal, the dog.
Yes.
So what you do when you train a dog
Mm-hmm.
is when you when they do something good, you give them positive reinforcement.
Right. Yep.
And then so if you say sit and the dog sits, you pet them or give them a treat
Yeah.
or whatever else.
Right.
And you're like, okay, now like lay down, and then et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So so the cops are using the same sort of tactic with this dummy.
Yes, he is. I mean, I've seen it described that his IQ is bordering
70.
on like mentally disabled.
So I'm not sure what is acceptable for IQs nowadays.
Right.
But I imagine that most elementary school students had better sense than this kid.
Just watching it, yeah, it's hard to watch.
Yes. But like, so basically what these people or these cops are doing is saying, don't lie to us. And every time he says the truth,
Yeah.
they're saying, don't lie to us.
Right.
As if he's lying.
Yes.
And so like in like the dog mentality, if like, so when you say, when the dog like pees on the carpet or whatever, you say, no, bad.
Right.
So, like, in his mind, he's doing something wrong
Right. So
when he's saying the things that are true.
right.
So what happens is he starts saying things that aren't true to try to placate the people that are saying, do good things, buddy.
Yeah.
And then he says these bad, terrible things, and then he say, that's good that you're saying that.
Yeah.
We'll be able to do good things with that. And
Right.
and the thing is, like, he's like, oh, am I going to be able to go back to, like, 6th period? I got a project due.
Yeah.
He has no understanding,
No
that
understanding
he's
at all.
completely fucked.
Yeah. It's
And then, like, like he's talking to his mom, like, a week later, and he wanted to go. He's like, oh, I hope I get out of here soon. I want to watch WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like, that's all he cared about.
that is all he cared about.
He wanted to watch... I don't know who was in WrestleMania back in 2005,
Yeah, I don't remember.
but he was pretty psyched about it. Maybe Triple H is.
It might have
he a
been. I
guy?
mean, that might have been the last one. It might have been. It could have even been the Hogan Rock one.
We could just enough with wrestling.
Anyway, but well, I just mentioned because that was around then was the last one that I watched. That's the only reason I have any even vague knowledge of what it would have been. Yeah, no. So I mean, a lot of people. I saw somebody use the verb like hate watching it or hate binging it or anger watching.
Well, the thing is, like, we were watching it like a couple episodes a night, and like, I would just be and like she'd be like, you want to watch another one? I'm like, it's 10 o'clock. Like, no, I want to go to bed.
Right.
But like, I'd be like, I'd be. I'm like, I don't want to give any more of it away.
Right, yeah.
But it's just like,
I mean, the thing is that I'm an asshole, and I went to the Wikipedia page at which kind of describes what the outcome is, but like,
I mean, I bet you could have figured what happened.
Out what the outcome was, just I mean, by the title of the show, and yet, so now I'm like, how do they stretch this out over 10 episodes?
You've encountered Ken Kratz though, right? The guy with the little mustache and the little soft voice.
Is he the special prosecutor?
Yes.
Yeah. Hmm?
Oh my God, do I hate that guy?
Yeah.
And like one of the things that came out like after after the whole hullabaloo is that like he was like texting, like this is in other cases and whatnot.
Yeah.
He was texting like abuse victims and being like, hey, if you ever want to get together with me, Like, dude's married and he's just like trying to like hook
jeez.
up with people that get fucked over by their boyfriends or whatever. I'm like, could you be more of a fucking scumbag?
I just
With your little voice and your fucking shitty mustache.
So is the reason that you wanted me to watch it was like to see if I got as angry as you were getting?
No, well, like not necessarily that, or just like to talk about it.
To talk about it a little bit. I'll be curious. I'm going to try to watch more of it.
The rest of it before next
time, and we can talk more about it then. Because it was the sort of thing that I felt myself going. If I watch, like.
But the thing is that
at nighttime, not like really late, but getting close enough to late that I was like, if I keep watching this, I'm gonna have a hard time going to sleep because I'm angry about it.
So definitely don't watch it right before bed.
Yeah.
Which is what we were doing.
Yeah.
When you finish it up, just think about like the fact that there are other things that weren't in the documentary and kind of like investigate them.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about the whole shebang.
Right.
And then what we think. But like, but the thing is like, if I was on either jury, both either Stevens or Brandon's or whatever, I don't think I could have convicted either of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
What they should have done was brought in a jury from like not just another jurisdiction in Wisconsin, like brought in other juries from like another place, like just random people from all over the goddamn country. Because like there's like anybody that's like local would know exactly what the frick is going on. But like, I hadn't heard about this.
Right.
Like I'm just, just some dude. Like if I had just been brought in a jury, whatever, you pay for my trip to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
In the hopefully summertime.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, no, I was gonna say the football games that were yesterday was in Minnesota. In Minnesota, it was the coldest. I think it was the coldest.
But that was the Minnesota
game.
The Minnesota Seattle game.
Yeah.
Which I watched the end of, and there was no Patriots game this week, so we can't play that fucking bit.
Well,
but like,
how did they cheat this week? They didn't play.
They had a bye week. Yeah. Because they won too many games this year.
Bastards.
God damn it. But like what was it? The Vikings versus the Seahawks.
Yes.
The Vikings had a pretty much easy field goal to win the game.
Right.
Like, I mean, I think the Seahawks would have gotten the ball with maybe 15 to 20 seconds left.
Yeah.
And they would have had to have scored a field goal with that amount of time.
Yeah.
To win. Because they were ahead by 1 prior to the failed field goal.
Right.
And they were still ahead by 1.
Yeah.
It was like, I think they were at like about the 20-yard line.
Yeah.
When they kicked the field goal. Which, I don't know. Like, I don't know how good my foot is.
Right.
But I might be able to do that.
You might be able to.
I might, like me as a shithead, like that has no athletic ability, might have been able to do what that guy was.
30-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. If it was on the 20. Yeah.
And this is a person that's paid possibly millions of dollars to do so.
Yeah.
And doesn't. And it was like the
people were blaming the holder. Was that the one?
It was laces in.
Yeah,
that's what he held the ball. I'm thinking Ace Ventura all up in here. He's gonna become a lady, and then kill Dan Marino.
Now, like as ridiculous as that game was, like I just heard about and watched some of the lowlights of the Bengals Steelers game, where, as I understand that game. Who
won? Steelers?
The Steelers won. And as I understand that game, if the Bengals had basically...
Did Roethlisberger rape people? Oh, allegedly. On the field?
Allegedly.
Allegedly raped people on the field?
Allegedly he raped a Bengal tiger.
Oh.
There was... if I recall correctly, the Bengals essentially could have knelt down a couple of times, kicked a long field goal attempt, and... something. Essentially, they ended up fumbling. Roethlisberger threw a long one, which
into some lady who didn't want it.
No.
Oh,
He threw a long pass which didn't get complete, but there was a pass interference penalty. There was some sort of 15-yard penalty. Then, I think on that same play, a couple of players went down. One of the Pittsburgh,
on Roethlisberger?
one of the Pittsburgh coaches, a former player,
Went down on him.
Yes. No, a former player who was a Pittsburgh coach.
I'm confused.
Came out onto the field when they've already Bengals have already been penalized 15 yards. He's checking on one of his downed players, and a Bengal.
Is that like Down syndrome players? This is getting nowhere. You should just stop.
Essentially, they had two 15-yard penalties on the same play. So the Steelers get 30 yards, kick a field goal, win the game. The Bengals should have won, is what.
If it wasn't for the Down syndrome kid, is what you're saying. Was Rudy?
All right, we're at 59:45. There were a couple of other things on the list, but
do we do a lightning round, or do we just save it for next week?
We could say Powerball. So these are the things that are on the list. And the listeners, no, they can't tell us. There's no live chat room. I went on a field trip to the State House. You went to the Wayside Inn. You went to the Dudley Chateau. And Powerball is happening this week.
Buy your tickets, and then we'll talk about how we didn't win the lottery next week.
Yes. Yeah.
Or maybe I will have my lawyer present, and we'll talk about how I did win the lottery.
How you did win the lottery. But anyway, yeah. Maybe I'll talk. There wasn't much to say about the field trip, but I'll bring up the.
Did you meet Marty Meehan?
I did not meet Marty Meehan. I did not meet anybody.
Who's our governor?
Charlie Baker.
Did you meet Charlie Baker?
I did not meet Charlie Baker.
Did you say, hey, I don't do the fare increases on the tea? You fuck.
I could care less. I don't.
Do not take the tea.
I don't take the tea. I hate.
The thing is, like, they keep on raising the fares of the tea, and they're just basically making it more expensive to ride the tea than it is to own an automobile.
More expensive to ride that noisy piece of shit. The Green Line. I hate the Green Line, and that's where inevitably, when I was commuting in, I would have to take the Green Line a lot. And
here's us getting local for you.
Getting local for you.
Why do you have to be constipated every time you say that? What are the plugs?
All right, for the show notes, you can go to clarkwoods.com/hot/76. That's 76.
I think this was a good one.
This was a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I
already mentioned it several times, and I only screwed it up once. But you can email us at hot@clarkwoods.com.
Yes.
Send us an email.
Tell us what we got wrong. Tell me all about how I just completely botched what actually happened at the end of the Bengals game.
Yeah. Or I completely threw you off track by saying things.
And of course, if you want to hit us up on Twitter, you can find me at ECC1977.
And I am at Tuesday is loser. That's the word Tuesday. The word is the word loser, all wrapped up into one giant word bow. Tuesday is loser.
Nice package. Nice package with a bow on it.
Thank you for saying I have a nice package.
You do have a nice package.
Thanks. All right, so I don't know where we should go with this. Ticket to ride, White Line Highway. Tell your friends you can go my way. White lines.
Oh, wait, I got no. It's we're already over. But
we're already over.
We're already over. But there was a guy.
Ooh.
There was a guy on Twitter. His name was
Rang dang diggity dang a day.
No, his name was Bengals and Bowie, and he really had a shitty week.
He totally had a shitty week.
He
was probably the same shitty week as that guy that didn't win the lottery.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that was all of us.
All of us.
My vagina.